decade also was a ongoing thing for technology.
Yeah, so I'm just coming to that. So what was happening is that one is that this broadening of aspirations from the schools, and then second is that you also need a very good building. In the previous decades, building did not have any place or importance, but you need a first-rate building like intact, right, and everything neat and clean. This is infrastructure, good sporting facilities, good labs, good library, you see, good reception, some smiling face to welcome the children and parents. So this is one thing. But the second thing is, as you rightly said, the technology was also, making its inroads into the teaching learning process. And therefore, when we started this school in Delhi, we had these 2-3 things in mind, that how are we going to be different from others?
So right? You started?
Yes, this
Ahlcon?
2003.
Ahlcon?
So Ahlcon 2003. And 2003 is the time when these questions were coming in our mind, that we need a very good building. We need to produce high percentage students. We need to give them a very good platform where they can be the good personalities and they can and they can feel comfortable as not only as a citizens of Mayur Vihar or Delhi, but also as citizens of the world. Absolutely. Right? And the uses of technology. And the last thing which we thought that we cannot do without is developing international linkages.
Oh yes, it is.
And that is how we thought that the only one thing that can very nicely articulate this vision is Indian values and global perspective. So
Indian values and
global perspective.
Oh, wow.
So that became the vision motto of our school.
Wow.
So because personally also, my management also, and my whole upbringing, always dictated to me that the Indian values in many ways are supreme to any other value system. And that was endorsed by the people in Saudi Arabia, as I said. That has been endorsed by a lot of people that I have come across, not only in India but abroad. And everybody talks about Gandhian values. Yes. Everybody talks about the scriptures. Everybody talks about what Aurobindo has said. Everybody talks about what Vivekananda has said.
Absolutely.
So that gave me a sense of pride that I need not look for any other value system than what is already enshrined in our own scriptures. You see? And now that our own philosophy has suggested that we must treat the whole world as family, therefore this global perspective.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So global perspective in the sense that the children should be sensitive to the needs of the globe. So they may think and live and act locally, but the perspective should be global. Because we knew in 2003 that by the time our first batch of graduates come out of our schools, the world will have changed so much that they will have to work in multicultural teams. They will have to work in multicultural environments, right? So that was something which we were able to envision at that point of time. And that is what I define as the narrative of the last decade of my career. And therefore I built on my first decade and second decade into the third decade, which precisely is what you are trying to ask me, that how these decades shaped my own thought and vision about education.
I wonder that such a great leader right now, you are doing wonders in education. How your childhood would look like? How was it?
So I think my childhood, I may not have been very happy with how things were moving. But if you ask me this question, I can tell you with a great confidence that if my childhood was not what it was, probably I would not have been what I am today.
What it was like?
So I had the opportunity to study at various places, number one, because my father was a railway employee.
Okay.
So his job was transferable. So much so that at one point of time when he could not keep his family with him, we were transported to our village.
Okay. And which
so I had a very remote, obscure place you may not have heard in the eastern UP,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then I studied in a village school for 3 to 4 years.
Sorry to interrupt, but that village school must have created a huge impact somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That suddenly I moved from a very comfortable, from a very good, cozy system of education to, so there, let me tell you, there I was sitting on a chair because that school had table and chair.
Chair.
And the village school, I was squatting on the floor.
Okay.
But I never felt bad about it.
Why?
At that time, we did not have that vision
Okay.
of comfort. So we thought that, well, that is what it is. It was there and it is not here. Fine, cool.
But the learning was the motive.
So learning was the motive. And devotion and dedication of the teachers was the motive. And then everybody from the village, you know, why I say what I said a few minutes ago, that my student experience, my childhood experience, you know, gives me strength today. Today, in 2019 and 20, we are talking about inclusive education. I'm product of inclusive
Yeah,
education.
that's what I was about to
You
say.
see?
Yeah.
So I'm product of inclusive education.
Absolutely.
I sat with every strata of society that children were coming from.
That shaped you.
That shaped me.
Yeah.
And we had never any differences. We would fight with each other without it. I mean, believe me, I came from the landlord's family. And there were people who were the land tillers actually. And we all studied together. We were all very good friends. We would tease each other. We'll all fight
That
with
gave
each
you
other.
the inclusivity.
So that inclusiveness is in my blood, I can say that. And that is why when Government of India talked about 2010, this right to education, for me it was a very, very welcome move. And that is why the first attempts that we made in Ahlcon to this inclusion process was appreciated. The Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad talked about it. They came and talked to me, they interviewed me. Hindustan Times, they interviewed me. And they wanted to know that how you are able to do it. And I said, I'm able to do it because this is the only natural thing to do.
Because of your...
Because of my experience, you know.
This is the thing I wanted to know. Yeah.
And another thing is that I told them that, look, as children, I think this is almost same in everywhere.
Yes, 100%.
It shapes, and maybe it grows, and maybe it builds up with the environment.